Good evening and welcome back to the enclosure. Today's episode is all about lights. Let there be light. You'll notice that generally the light quality here is much better than past updates. And the reason is that we have finally installed some proper lights. So all of our LED fixtures on the first floor have been installed. These are wafer style LEDs. And the fixture, the driver itself has been permanently installed, and the fixtures is temporarily installed on string lines showing the exact center point of each fixture. And I put the fixtures in now because I realized that my light quality in the job site has been quite pathetic for the last 6 years. And as a result, my eyes have gotten so bad that I can't see less than 3 feet without glasses. And I can't see far away either without glasses. But ideally, my viewing range is computer screen distance. But anyway, so I decided that after I got the rough-end drivers in place, I may as well put the LED wafers in place so that we could A, have some better construction lighting, but B, also see what kind of light quality we were going to get. When planning this out, there was a lot of diverging views on the web, all apparently from lighting design experts who all had slightly different ideas of what the appropriate amount of lumens per room was. And so I did some research myself. I put some I've talked about this in the past. I put some sample lights up and decide what we were comfortable with and then use that as a formula going forward. And so we're actually quite pleased with the effect that this is providing. Hopefully it shows up well on camera. The camera tends to pick up the spots a little bit more harshly than the human eye does. And then we have our kitchen. And I was a little bit concerned about the kitchen because I did the main lighting first, which is what you see here. And it's, what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that are the 3000 Kelvin. And it was more living room moodish as opposed to kitchen work kind of feeling. But then I put in the 4000 Kelvin work spots, and that made all the difference in the world. So you can see here the quality of light that's going to be at the counters is going to be phenomenal. There's no shadows. I can walk around the room and there's no shadows whatsoever on my hand as I walk through the kitchen. So that was awesome. That worked out really well. And again, in this room, we'll have an LED trough going around the perimeter, and that'll just provide some ambiance lighting in the evenings when you have the kitchen lights off. There's going to be 3 pendant lights over the breakfast bar island that you see here. That's going to be put in later. Then we come to our hall, and here you can see that the light looks significantly different. If we scan over to here, it's more of a yellowish warm light. And if we scan over to here, it's sort of a brighter white light. And this is a 4000K. We decided to use 4000K in the hallways and work areas because it does give off a more natural light. We're all used to incandescents. Well, incandescents are actually quite a ways away from natural light and how you perceive colors and whatnot. So the work areas, it tends to be better to use a higher Kelvin light temperature, which is what we've done. I'll show you the fixtures themselves. Some of these fixtures that we've got actually allow us to select the temperature that we want. And we've used those in a lot of the house. This is the wafer LED itself. This is the light fixture. It's 1/2 inch thick, basically the thickness of drywall. And you basically just put a hole in drywall, and these arms flip up on both sides, and you stick it up, and then this clips down on the back side of the drywall. And then the driver itself for this particular fixture is this box here, and it allows, as I was saying, a selection of 3,000, 4,000, or 5,000 Kelvin. So we've used this particular fixture for a lot of the house, where we thought it might be nice to have the flexibility of color temperature down the road. But one of the initial spots is in the hallways. And so you can see here, it's a well-lit hallway. It's the same amount of lumens, it's a different color. At least I believe it's the same amount of lumens. Let's just go check that. No, it wouldn't be then these, because these are all 3-inch that we're looking at, and this is 4-inch. So this 4-inch has 750 lumens. The 3-inch, let's see here. Here's the 3-inch gimbal. That's 650 lumens. That is the 4,000 Kelvin spots that we've got there. And then let's see if I've got the 3-inch doesn't have the specs on the outside of the box, so I'm not sure what the lumen output of that is without looking up online what the specs were. If memory serves me, it was somewhere in the 500 lumen range. So it would be a little bit dimmer than what's in the hallway. But having the same amount of lumens from fixture to fixture, you will notice a big difference between a 4,000 Kelvin and a 3,000 Kelvin fixture in the light quality, the overall light quality. So we've got our hallway, our family entrance over here, all of them with 3-ways and 4-ways. So like the hallway, I can turn the hallway on and off at the family entrance. I can turn the hallway on and off at the mudroom entrance, and then I can turn the hallway off down at the end of the hallway. And then we've got our first floor bathroom. Again, a little bit more of a cozy type feeling. The 3,000 Kelvin warmer light and not a lot of it. There will still be a wall sconce that's located there, and then there will be a LED strip that's going behind the mirror. The edge of the mirror will be frosted and the strip will shine through. And then we've got our mudroom. Again, I chose the 4,000 color here, and then 2 of the gimbal spots for down over the sort of the counter areas. Outside, I've got the soffit lighting outside the mudroom, and then I've also got some of the first door exit lights installed, which is what you see here. Then we move on downstairs. That's pretty much it for upstairs. I've got the lighting for the stairwell connected to the lighting at the bottom landing. So if I turn off one, turns off all of them. That is a code requirement, as well as the fact that you have to have the ability to turn the light on and off from both the top and the bottom of the stairs. In the basement, we are only putting in some of the rough-in fixtures at this point. I'm going to generally do the basement lighting after we move in. So the requirement is to have the lighting at the base of the stairs, the landing for safety reasons, and then some general lighting in the room. And that's what this will be here. To provide the general lighting. It just provides sort of safety lighting for the entire basement. It doesn't provide working lighting. I will still have the construction lights, which I just have on a little automatic relay that I can control with a computer here. If I can turn it on, there we go. And that is just a perimeter construction lighting that goes sort of around the perimeter of the hallway. In the basement, I've finished the installation of the woodworking shop panel, which is what you see here. And I've also installed or dressed out all of the boxes, the light switch boxes and the receptacle boxes, which means that they have the pigtails needed to connect directly to the fixture. So that would be the hot, the white here, if I can get it out, is the neutral, and then over on the corner edge here is a bonding, bare bonding strip copper. So this is what it's called dressing out the fixture, and it is sort of the pre-drywall stage. So everything up to this point allows it to be drywalled over, and then you cut the hole for the fixture, and then you just pull out the 3 conductors, hook up either a light switch. In the case of a light switch, it would be 2 conductors. But for receptacles, what these are, this is the woodworking shop. You would pull out the 3 conductors, the hot, the neutral, and the bonding, connect them to a receptacle, and you're good to go. I've also got a few boxes in the ceiling. So there we've got the orange box is the smoke detector, which has not, actually it has been wired up. And then the big square one, metal one, is the ceiling light. That's going to be a 20 amp for the table saw, which is going to be directly below it. And actually, it's not going to be for the table saw. It's going to be for an air scrubber directly above the table saw. The table saw, obviously, the cord needs to be below the cutting surface, not above. But I've got all of the boxes dressed in the basement, ready to go. I've got the sauna connection ready to go. Basically, everything's good to go. One of the things I'm excited about is I've got my hand dryer going. So I picked that up. It's only 15 amp. It's a 220 15 amp, and it actually only uses, I think, about 6 amps. I picked it up on Amazon or eBay used for, I think it was 80 bucks. And I've actually found out that it's an Accelerator brand, and it's a high-end brand, and it's had good service. I've contacted the company, and they've given me the service records, and they've said, look, if it works now, it's going to work forever for your limited use as opposed to commercial use. Got our main Leviton load center connected. Got the Solar Edge DC inverter installed. It's not connected yet to the BX strings that are going to go up to the ceiling. I've talked before about this big box here. It's the load shedding relays for when I'm on generator circuit. It's going to shut down the woodworking subpanel, shop subpanel, and the metalworking shop subpanel. Then I've got a Generac load shedding module. The district does not allow these for load shedding, which is why I have to have that big box up there. It's an actual relay box as opposed to just electronics. But this is for the DC inverter. Solar Edge do not allow their inverter to be run on generator power. So this is not a district requirement or a code requirement. This is a manufacturer requirement, which is why I'm using the Generac here. And then all inverters require a AC disconnect, which is what this is. And in the new code cycle, this is actually required to be out near the meter. So I'm very happy I'm in the old code cycle. And then, of course, we've got our Leviton panel, which is all of the circuits, I think, except 2 are installed. I've got the heat pump for the heating system, which I don't have yet. And then that big that big tech cable you see coming out of there, that goes to an outbuilding, just a shed at the back. The reason it's so big is I used to do some welding out there. But it will just handle a 30 amp load, and it still needs to be moved over to the new panel. So that's it for the basement. We've got our required lights for code for an unfinished basement. We've got all the rest of the light switches and boxes wired in, roughed in, and dressed out. And then we go upstairs. So let me just turn off the lights that I can't reach upstairs, i.e. the hallway, and everything else we can turn off from up here. So there is a bit of a learning curve for me. I've been so used to turning all of the lights on every floor, like per floor on and off with my Z-Wave control system. So in the past, this would turn off all of the basement lights on and off. So I've now turned them off. But now I have to remember to turn off the new LED lights as I go through the house, which is a bit of a learning curve. Upstairs, the only thing that has been done is we have roughed in the electrical boxes and lights, light switches and boxes. I have not dressed them yet. I'm going to start that tomorrow morning. And then once I have those dressed, I'm going to call for a partial inspection. I want to talk to the inspector about installing the lights on the ceilings that have the OSB. So I can show you what a mock-up of the ceiling is going to be and why it's a bit difficult. So we're looking at it obviously upside down, and there's some things here that are substitutions. So this 3/4 plywood, it won't be 3/4, it's 1/2 inch OSB, which is what's on the ceilings now. Then I'm going to have a 1.5 inch furring strip or cross batten board or whatever you want to call them to provide a services raceway. Then there's going to be another layer of OSB. Then there is going to be 3/4 inches of rigid foam, which is what this cardboard represents. And in there at 6-inch centers will be the hydronic heating pipes. And there will be omega-shaped 4-foot-long aluminum transfer plates that go here, and that provides the heat radiation sort of up, down if this is the right way around. But these are the two sizes of holes that the fixtures go into. So this one's not too bad. I can get the driver in and around. This one, I can't even get the driver through here without somehow modifying the driver. And I'll show you what that driver looks like. Generally, they're the gimbal devices, because it's a sloped ceiling and I need to be able to align the light shining downwards. And so this is what we're looking at here. And the driver, and the other thing is it's quite a tall fixture. It's thicker than the drywall. So the driver itself cannot go directly below the fixture. But the driver is that big. And, whoops, sorry, hung up here. Trying to get this into that hole is not going to work. And so what I have figured out, all of the layers below this have an enlarged hole that is 6 inches instead of this small thing. And I'm going to have to take off a flange, which I wasn't going to be able to use anyway. And if I do those two things, I can actually get this around the corner to lie flat. And this one, if the inspector wanted it to, I could attach it to the OSB. I could, once it was around the corner, I could put a screw through here and attach it. The 4-inch ones, which I will show you, they don't have the flange. They have mounting inside the fixture. And so as I said, this goes into the hole a lot easier. I can put that in. But the mounting is here. And if I put it so that I can reach that screw, I won't be able to open the door anymore. which means that I'd never be able to get, once I've installed this before I put all of the sealing on, I'd never be able to get the fixture out again. So I'd never be able to change a driver, which obviously the code's going to want to allow you to be able to change your light fixture. So I'm going to have to talk to the inspector about ways to handle that. That's it for lighting and the electrical status. I'm going to come back tomorrow morning and show you some of the stuff that I've done outside. I've been doing landscaping on Saturdays and show you what has transpired there. Good morning and welcome back to the enclosure. As promised, I'm going to give an update on where we're at on the outside landscaping. You'll remember from an earlier update, I defined this garden quite a while ago with some soil I had brought in. And this is the end of the season, so there's mainly seeds here. They are left to self-seed for the following year, and the birds also like them. We've also had a good crop of rhubarb. We've had some raspberries. We've had some haskell berries. We had quite a few blueberries, considering it was the first year. I've also got some chives in the background. And then we've had some really good success with tomatoes. And I've got some up on the roof, mainly cherry tomatoes. And then I've got some down here as well. And we're at the end of the season, but we've had pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of tomatoes. Over in this garden, we've had snow peas, lots of zucchini, and some Persian cucumbers. Still to come is onions and carrots. The rocks you see in the background were brought up from the bottom of the pit. I actually lifted them out with the excavator. I recently brought in some soil from Kootenay Richmond Soils, which has been absolutely wonderful soil. This soil over here I got from the North Shore, and it's basically a bunch of sticks. This was brought in April, and there's a bit of breakdown compost now, but you can see there's still a lot of sticks, and basically water drains right through it. It has no manure in it, no nutritional value. I had to basically fertilize everything. As opposed to this stuff from Kootenay, which has been double screened. I think it's a mixture of compost, manure, sand, peat, and maybe some clay. But it's really fine. It holds moisture well. You could smell it long before you could see it, which is the sign of a good topsoil. And it's, I'm sure, going to be a great base for flower gardens. I also recently brought in about 20 yards of wood chips. This is going to provide a temporary drive surface for the tractor from the front yard to the backyard, as well as sidewalks around the house. We had a little bit of a problem with the truck getting stuck, and I'll talk about that on my website, theEnclosure.ca /we have light. So that's basically the status for now. We still have a pile of junk in the background to get rid of, and then most of the front yard will be cleaned up. These wood chips make a much easier time walking down through this. Before the wood chips were here, there was a foot of water in this path, and it'll provide a nice walking surface around the house as well. We just finishing up the gas line installation, which is the two posts you see on the left there. I have to put a backing for the gas meter. So we're just finishing that up, and actually it's gone quite a bit further since I did this video. The amount of rocks in this soil, so all of that rock came out of that tiny hole, and at the very bottom was this boulder. So getting that out of the hole was quite a challenge, and hard on the back, obviously. Had to use a rope. And what I've done is I've put a 4-inch pipe all the way out to the street that they can run their gas line into, so that we don't have to worry about redigging all this up, which you can sort of, yeah, there you can see there. The gas line, the gas meter is off the side of the house because I am going to be running back and forth with a tractor, later on with a lawn tractor, and because our sidewalks are going to be right up against the house, there wasn't a good place to put the gas meter. We also have doors and windows close by, so you can't get your 10 feet of distance to the gas valve itself. Um, I will have a future update on the installation of this. I'm hoping to have the gas company's inspector come. Here I'm just talking about how I'm going to be putting in an arbor later on with hopefully a swinging bench, and there will be a barbecue and a fireplace and all that kind of stuff in this conversation area. By the way, I'm redubbing this video sound because the sound didn't turn out on the original video. But in this area, I hope to have the barbecue, the outdoor fireplace, a smoking chamber for like cold smoking fish and stuff, and even a pizza oven, bread oven later on. The excess soil that I had at the front of the yard, I won't call it soil, I'll call it dirt. It was transferred to the backyard to be used for landscaping projects in the backyard. I'm going to have to screen the rocks out of it, but for now it's in a pile. I have raked the surface rocks out, and I've just planted a bunch of winter crop. There's vetch and various other, I think there's winter peas and various other winter growing plants that are going to provide nitrogen and really just provide something nice to look at, because this is going to be here after we move in. I'm not going to be able to deal with this prior to occupancy, so it'll give us something nice and green to look at out of the window. Okay, so that is it. I do hope you enjoy this update, and we'll talk to you again soon.